me my pen and pad and take me to the highest mountain. Leave me there for days. I've got something to shout out loud. The only way I know how is on paper through rhyme. I've been silent for years. Now is the time for me to break my silent code. Break loose from vocal cords. I've got emotions locked. I'm about to explode. I need to let off steam, let people see who I be, and get rid of the imposter that has people deceived. Cause see, she's a happy clapper. Most times I like to slap her. She just goes with the flow. In these tracks I need to stop her. That's why nobody knows all the pain that I felt except God. But for some reason, he won't tell. I'll try and spell it out for you. In an album or two, you need to bear with me, please. There's nothing else that I can do. Because I've seen so many things. Even when young, that I couldn't tell Mom. I need to speak to someone, so hear me out. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the name is Mr. Lorraine. And I did not choose the name, but the name, it chose me. Mr. Lorraine is a wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, amongst a host of other things. And I've got no intentions of making any changes to these, but then I've had people approach me, and they will ask, do you know you sound like a man? Why do you sound like a man? As if it's something I do deliberately. As if every day before I leave my house, I look in the mirror and I think, tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Tracy Chapman. If I'm having a conversation over the phone with a stranger, then I'm blatantly accused of impersonating the real Lorraine. And yes, it's an accusation and not a case of somebody being mistaken, because if you were mistaken, I could correct you and we could move on. But I'm accused of impersonating the real Lorraine, so it's up to me to prove that I am who I claim I am. My problems escalated when the banks and other service providers decided that they didn't want to see us, their customers, face to face. They had the internet and telephone services firmly in place. So a conversation with the service provider tends to transpire the same way. I will call them, I will give them my account details, and then they will tell me that the account in question is actually in the name of a Miss Lorraine Chademunhu. And I'll tell them, you're speaking to Lorraine. But then they will go ahead and ask me, is she there? Other services will start calling me sir from the get-go. Do you think it makes a difference if I tell them that I'm not sir? Oh no. There's that company, you know, the one that claims it offers cheaper car insurance to women because women are the safer drivers. But my voice suggests I'm a maniac on the road. They're like, no, you're not, Lorraine. I'm like, yes, I am. And if it's something of importance, then what I have to do is metaphorically grow a pair and just take the abuse. I'll have to let them call me all sorts, because if I start arguing with them, then they're going to mess up my nectar points. So they'll call me all sorts. Dude, bloke, sir, Mr. Lawrence, buddy. So you can take your pick. And then when I'm lucky enough to get to the registration stage, they'll ask for my name, I'll tell them it's Lorraine. And then the comment is, oh, that's strange. I always thought Lorraine was a girl's name. Or somebody will ask me, so how are you spelling your Lorraine? So if there are any Lorraines in the audience, I would love to know, how do you spell your Lorraine? So one day I had a situation. I had a burst tire in the middle of rush hour in the morning, and I had my 10-year-old boss to get to school on time. So after making the necessary arrangements through that stress, I was back where my car was, so I called the recovery company. The lady on the other end was calling me sir. I tried to correct her, then I remembered. What was more important was to get the mechanic on his way, so I just let her call me sir throughout the conversation. And when the mechanic was on his way, he called me to get my exact location. He demanded to speak to Lorraine, and I said, you are speaking to Lorraine. He's like, look mate, I know you're a bloke, I'm tired of having my time wasted, so you better have ID when I get there. Needless to say, when we're face to face, there was no need for any ID. And the list of incidents just goes on and on. I even remember speaking in a high-pitched tone because I was desperate to get a loan. I sounded like a cat being strangled. It was even better for me just to buy a tank of helium. That would have been less stressful. But one thing was clear, I did not know my limits. I was putting myself through all these situations, but I didn't know how much I could take. So do you know your limits? How much can you take before the cracks begin to appear? And if I'm speaking to the bank, I'm always referred to the fraud department. Because the banks, they'll ask you the questions that are difficult to answer under stress. Things like my own name, my date of birth, my home address, those difficult questions. My family, my children, my husband, they've noticed, me under pressure, how humiliated I feel, on the brink of tears, when somebody who's so keen to protect my identity denies me access to my own account. I've even been told that, yes, I am a man because I sound like a man. So tell me, gentlemen, is that all it takes to be a man? You just have to sound like one? If that's the case, then I'm the man. But then it had to come to a head. I had a situation with my bank account that needed to be resolved. So I thought I was being clever. I decided just to go straight to the branch with my ID because I wanted to save myself the humiliation of having the conversation over the phone in the comfort of my own home. I went into the bank, I picked up the customer services phone, and as my luck would have it, I failed security. So I had to hand over my ID to one of the workers in the branch. And the two of them started to have a conversation about me. So the lady I'd given the phone to looked at me in the corner of her eye. She was like, yes, it is a woman. And he must have asked, can you take a closer look? Because she looked at my breasts for 5 seconds longer than what was comfortable for me. I think probably in envy. And she was like, yes, I am sure. And they continued to have this conversation about me. They even shared a joke, which I didn't know, because they were talking about me. And then after that, what they did was conclude the conversation, and she just told me that yes, my account was free for me to access. Never have I felt so humiliated in my life. I felt that they actually undressed me there in the bank. And what I actually wanted to do on that day, and I'm not even lying, was just to take my kit off there in the bank and prove that yes, I am Lorraine, and I am a woman. But then I left that bank humiliated, on the brink of tears. I sat in my car, just thinking about what had happened. I thought, okay, let me make a complaint, but I'd made complaints before, and these complaints, they get nowhere. Because the only reassurance they give is it won't happen again. But from my perspective, the only reassurance is that somewhere along the line, it is definitely going to happen. And before this incident, I'd actually thought, you know what? I need to take these people to court, let me sue them. But then from the little information that I had, it seemed there was nothing I could do. If somebody had been racially abusive or sexually harassed me, then I could take them to court. But there was nothing for me. I even thought, you know what, okay, fine. Let me take my story to the papers, at least that will make me famous. But then unfortunately, the editor of The Sun and I could not agree. Because I thought my story should have been on page 3. So after this incident, what I did, I was silenced, and I find myself just apologizing, making all these adjustments. I'll say I'm sorry, oh, it's the sound of my voice, or everybody makes the same mistake. If I was booking a restaurant, then I would use my husband's name because I knew there would be no further questions to be asked. So what adjustments do you make just to make other people comfortable around you? And when you're backed into a corner, what do you do? Do you run? Do you hide? Like I did? Or is there one last fight left in you? And then also I wondered, why do people actually just make assumptions? Because we make decisions about people based on those assumptions. You look at someone, you look at the color of their skin, their hair, the way they speak, and you make a decision based on those assumptions. So because I sound like a man, apparently I am a man. And because my name is Lorraine, and I sound like a man, then I am transgender. Yes, I was told that by one customer service representative. I'd actually love to see what's in their training manual. And also, because I've got this voice, people think, I'm a force to be reckoned with. If there's a fight to be had, then take Lorraine, she'll sort it out. But the truth of the matter is, when I'm most vulnerable, nobody bothers to find out how is Lorraine taking the situation. Apparently I even fought with a boy in high school. Somebody made up that story. So if anybody's got an issue with me, we can just take it outside. But then before you know, you start feeling sorry for me and get a GoFundMe campaign going. It's not always that bad being Mr. Lorraine. Because after that incident with the bank, they called me and they offered me £75 in compensation. Then I thought, you know what, if I register with a few local banks, my Christmas was all right. All I had to do was have a few conversations that needed compensation, and I was sorted. Or if a company's chasing their payment, they're calling me, and they don't believe I am who I say I am, then they clearly don't deserve to be paid. And I also perform, spoken word, rap, poetry, and I also stumbled into comedy, because all I have to do is just open my mouth and the comedy writes itself. I even had a friend at work confess that when I first spoke to her, she thought, he sounds like a nice guy. Shame his mother always wanted a girl, but she thought, I'll name him Lorraine anyway. And I am from Zimbabwe, so during the coup that wasn't a coup, I decided to just upload a few Zimbabwean jokes. And the abuse that I got from fellow Zimbabweans. Who is she? What is she? Is that a he? Is that a she? I was upset for just a brief moment. And I just thought free comedy material. So for the next 5 years, my comedy is written. But one thing after that incident with the bank, I just realized that if people could not accept me for who I am, then the problem is theirs. My voice makes me unique. My voice makes me Lorraine, because I wouldn't be Lorraine with another voice. So what are the unique things about you that make you beautiful, that make you stand out? Would you run and hide just because people don't accept them? Because if they don't accept them, they don't accept you, then the problem is yours. So let us accept the things that are unique about us, the things that make us beautiful. And I love this quote. To be beautiful means to accept yourself. You don't have to be accepted by others. You just have to accept yourself. So I'm still searching for that place to put the content of my soul. Watch my cup overflow with words untold. If silence was really gold, I'd have more than I can stop. But if the truth be told, I actually feel robbed of my freedom of expression. I have got no rights. In a heated situation, I wouldn't survive. These emotions grab a hold of me. I start to choke, even tears fill my eyes for reasons unknown. Are there things I don't want found out of me that make me think I'll be transparent if I started to speak, so I'll blend with the background? I'm not here, you can even hear the sound of a pin drop. When will I tell it like it is? When will I stand for what I believe? I beg you, you need to hold on, please. Let me deal with my demons before you ask for my opinion. Or I'll only tell you what you want to be hearing, so hear me out. Thank you.